The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. 9 survivors were rescued from the rubble in Turkey more than a week after the massive earthquake struck. The death toll from the quake has now exceeded 40,000, with over 35,000 recorded in Turkey and 5,800 in Syria. Those rescued on Tuesday included 2 brothers aged 17 and 21, pulled from an apartment block in Kahramanmaras, and a Syrian man and a young woman in Antakya, rescued after over 200 hours in the rubble. One rescuer said there could be more people alive that have yet to be found, but UN authorities have noted that the rescue phase is coming to a close, with the focus turning to shelter, food, and schooling. Doctors at a field hospital in Iskenderun are treating increasing numbers of patients suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and panic attacks. Doctors say the patients taken to the hospital were initially those who sustained physical injuries, but now more patients are coming in due to post-traumatic stress from the shock caused by the tragedy. Families in both Turkey and Syria have also said they and their children are dealing with the psychological aftermath of the quake. And survivors joined a mass exodus from earthquake-hit zones, leaving their homes and unsure if they can ever come back. Turkey says more than 2.2 million people have left the worst-hit areas already, and hundreds of thousands of buildings have become uninhabitable. In Syria, nearly 9 million people were affected by the earthquake, according to the UN. A first convoy of UN aid has entered rebel-held northwest Syria after Syrian President Bashar al-Assad agreed to allow the UN to enter from Turkey via 2 more border crossings. A gunman opened fire at Michigan State University, killing 3 people and injuring at least 5. The incident led to an hours-long manhunt for the suspect, who eventually died from a self-inflicted gunshot. Police said the 43-year-old gunman, who had no known affiliation to the university, and his motive remained a mystery. The shootout happened a day before the 5th anniversary of the Parkland school shooting that killed 17 people. U.S. President Joe Biden called for actions to stop gun violence, which he said is now occurring far too often.
Our hearts are with the students and the families of Michigan State University. It's a family's worst nightmare. It's happening far too often in this country. We have to do something to stop gun violence ripping apart our communities. Ripping apart.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. The White House says the 3 still unidentified objects shot down by the U.S. in this past week likely had merely a quote benign purpose. Officials say they have no indication of whether the balloons were part of a surveillance program along with a suspected Chinese spy balloon shot down earlier. National security spokesman also acknowledged substantive differences from the recent mysterious aerial objects and the balloon that China took account for. The White House also says that no country or company has come forward to claim any of the objects. Meanwhile, Taiwan threatens to shoot down any suspected military object coming close to its shores from mainland China. So far, Taiwan's defense ministry has yet to find any, but assures the self-governing island is on guard. Still in the U.S., Nikki Haley, the former South Carolina governor and United Nations ambassador, announced her candidacy for president on Tuesday. Haley now becomes the first major challenger to former President Donald Trump for the 2024 Republican nomination. Haley was a former Trump cabinet official who said 2 years ago she wouldn't challenge her former boss for the White House in 2024. But she changed her mind in recent months, citing, among other things, the country's economic troubles and the need for generational change, a nod to the 76-year-old Trump's age. Let's hear more details on Haley and her bid for the U.S. presidency from Meg Kinnard of the Associated Press.
Nikki Haley is expected to announce the launch of her bid for the GOP nomination for president in 2024. Nikki Haley was elected to 2 terms as governor of South Carolina. In 2010, she became the first woman and also first minority to serve in that capacity. But after 6 years in office, she was tapped by President-elect Donald Trump to serve as UN ambassador. During her service at the United Nations, Nikki Haley was able to further policies and ideas from we remember from her time at the UN are several instances in which she confronted other members of the Trump administration over some disagreements they had when it came to foreign policy. So for Nikki Haley, someone who did not initially support Donald Trump when he ran in 2016, to then be part of his cabinet was seen as something politically significant. It's long been anticipated by people both within South Carolina who've spent a lot of time around Nikki Haley, as well as others within GOP circles around the country, that she would make some sort of run for higher office at some point. Nikki Haley's only 51 years old. So even if she weren't to be successful in this campaign for president, purportedly, especially in an age where Americans have been electing politicians well into their 70s into high office, she could have many other runs for it in the future. But at least for 2024, Nikki Haley is positioning herself as someone who could present a new generation of Republican leadership in Washington. And at least at this point, it seems that she is going to be taking on former President Donald Trump for 2024.
In showbiz, Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime show has become the second most watched behind Katy Perry's 2015 performance. More details on that and other entertainment headlines in Showbiz Minute, courtesy of the Associated Press. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register an account now at signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Coming right up is Agenda at 8 a.m. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.